Hey everybody, welcome to the newest and special episode of TheCineChat, the podcast for casual moviegoers and cinephiles alike. This is Brent.
Josh.
And Josiah.
And it's special because it is our first, if everything goes well, video podcast we've ever done. So if you wanted to ever watch our ugly mugs as we talk about movies, now you can, which is just awesome and exciting.
Yeah.
And Mike's not here.
And Mike's not here. But
we should have switched and pretended to be each other.
we should have, because
see if anybody who recognizes like the voices is like,
Wait a
Brent
minute.
used to sound like Josiah. That's
switch it
weird.
around for the first
And
time.
I never
seeing it.
pictured Mike being two stuffed animals.
Which is fine because the stuffed animals will probably talk as much as he does, so it's all good. Oh, thrown out.
Poor Mike.
Poor Mike. That's all right. He'll be back. Well, you'll get to see Mike. But yeah, so if you are listening, if you're an iTunes listener, thank you for listening on iTunes and for subscribing if you subscribed and stuff. But there's also a video podcast. If you go to cinemen.net, you'll be able to check us out on video, and hopefully it'll be a video podcast that'll continue to be a video podcast as long as we don't run into any technical issues or anything goes wrong. So fingers crossed. But we got quite a bit of news to talk about. We've got trailers, obviously after the Super Bowl and stuff. Some new trailers launched. Plus, we all went and saw, I can pretty much say, a fantastic movie. I think from all of our opinions.
Deadpool?
Deadpool.
Oh, Skull.
Deadpool. Skull, Poop, L.
Poop L.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's Poo L. Otherwise, it's
Poople.
yeah. Otherwise, Poople. Dead Poople.
Dead
It's
Poople.
Poo L.
Dead Poo L. Sorry. Skull, Poo L. So, a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's get right to it. Usually we go over like box office numbers and stuff first, but I think we got quite a bit to talk about, so I want to skip over that.
It was Deadpool.
And
if anyone was
Deadpool
wondering.
pretty much rocked the box office this weekend, right?
Yeah, I was reading the reviews, and everybody, because I originally thought it was going to be between Deadpool and Zoolander 2, but the reviews for Zoolander 2 are pretty bad. I haven't seen it yet. But,
Oh, I thought you were going Friday.
no, I got busy at work,
Ah, okay. Well, that happens.
so I couldn't take the half day. So I got to cut out an hour early.
See Deadpool.
Yeah, see Deadpool.
Yeah.
You made the right choice, probably.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
we'll see when I get in on Monday.
Okay. I meant choosing Deadpool over Zoolander.
Oh,
2.
yeah. I'm sure I did too.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been waiting for this movie for a long time, so.
All right, so a couple of trailers that came out. We all saw Deadpool. Those are the movies we saw. We usually do that first too. We're going to get to that later and then maybe do a little spoiler stuff later on. So if you haven't seen Deadpool, go see it.
We'll let you know when to turn off.
Yeah, we'll let you know before we get into spoilers or anything. But we all saw Deadpool, and I didn't see anything else. Did you guys see anything else?
Nope.
No? Yeah, pretty much we saw Deadpool. We'll talk about it. But some trailers that came out during the Super Bowl. Let's see. Some big ones were like the new Cloverfield, or 10,
It was pretty much a new trailer for
10
everything.
Cloverfield Lane.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Batman vs Superman did not have one.
Yeah, it did.
No, but
Oh,
it
Super
came
Bowl
out,
spot.
not a
It
Super
had a
Bowl
new
spot.
trailer.
had
but
a new
not Super
trailer.
Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah. Captain America Civil War had a new trailer that was a lot of the same, but a little bit of
Pretty
new.
much just a teaser too. So
Yeah.
it was only like 40 seconds.
I saw
X-Men.
I saw a sweet new Jungle Book trailer where we actually got to see Blue talk, which
Which was
pretty
like the
excited
only
for.
one that had more than like a 30-second spot.
Yeah.
That was like a full like 2.5 minute.
And what's crazy is that trailer came on, and then it says go online to see the full one. So there's like more.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I watched the full one.
Maybe you watched the full one and
Yeah,
said,
pretty sure
because it was like
the-
it was like 2 minutes and 40
Yeah,
seconds.
because the
or
spot
something.
itself was only about 30 seconds to a minute.
yeah. And then it said go online to watch the full trailer. I was like, what? That's why I watched this game.
More?
Come on. And then I went online and watched it. But X-Men, and then I feel like there's one more.
There probably was.
There was a new Bourne.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
trailer.
I forgot about that.
This one
And
is called Jason Bourne.
This one's called Jason Bourne. Because they did the Rocky thing.
Yeah.
And now they just did the full name. So I think that's about it. If we're missing one, let us know. But I think that's all.
Are we gonna talk about any of them?
Yeah, we're going to talk
oh,
about it.
okay.
I was gonna,
I was like, are we just running through the list?
No, I was just
or-
going to go through. Let's
Independence
see.
Day?
Oh, Independence Day.
All right, let's start with that one then.
Independence Day. Yes. I was sold on the first one. I'm ready
Yeah.
to see it
Yeah.
right now.
I will say that I'm really happy though with the trailer because you got with the Independence Day one because you got a great Jeff Goldblum line. He's like, "What goes up must come down." He's like, "Yes, national monuments falling from the sky."
Yes. Oh man.
I'm always down for more Goldblum.
Yeah.
Which is why if they ever do a crossover film between Independence Day and Jurassic Park for God knows why, have them team up. Ian Malcolm and
Two Goldblums.
two Goldblums.
And then throw in the doctor from The Fly.
Yeah,
as well.
as the bad guy. He's like,
the
I'm gonna
bad
make
guy.
fly dinosaurs
Yeah.
with the alien tech from Independence Day.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to stop me.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it showed like besides like a couple few new images, it didn't really give us any more to the movie. Pretty much we know the movie.
We know
aliens are fighting.
They're back.
Yeah, that's it. But anything I see from that movie, I'm excited. I'm all for it. I'm sold.
Yeah.
If I could, my ticket would be bought right now. That's it. So moving on to what about Civil War?
I really liked it. I thought it was that 40-second trailer. I liked maybe even better than the original trailer, just because I liked the sort of divided we fall, united we stand chanting in the background.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
I really liked how at the end you could tell with the two shots they had that Cap's team is fully revealed. He has 6 members. Iron Man, we only see 5 because the sixth member is more than likely going to be Spider-Man in that exact shot. And just all the matchups that we've got, like that we can see are going to play out, like Vision and Scarlet Witch are going to fight, Black Panther and Winter Soldier, Cap and Iron Man, War Machine and Falcon, and they all have the same roles on the team, like the best friend of the guy who's leading the team, the leaders of the team, the superpower.
Wait, who's going to fight Ant-Man?
I think Spider-Man's going to fight Ant-Man.
That would make sense.
Yeah, because they're like the jokey insect-based new guy. But then Ant-Man's probably going to go giant at some point because that's got to happen.
Yeah, I was
Ant-Man had a new suit too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Ant-Man just like get hit by a web and be done? But if he gets big,
maybe,
then,
that's what I'm betting is like he goes small and maybe Spider-Man webs him and then he's like, all right, time to go big, and he goes big, and then like just that fight scene would be insane. Like you have this giant 30-foot tall guy fighting somebody who's just swinging around on a web, wall crawling everywhere, up a 30-foot tall Paul Rudd. You know,
I would. I don't know. It's gonna be. There's a lot going on in that movie.
It's gonna be a lot in that movie,
and we still don't know if William Hurt is gonna be the Red Hulk, like because we haven't even seen the bad guy of the film.
Well, is it gonna be like an actual bad guy?
Baron Zemo is the bad guy of the film. He's being played
and then you got Crossbones.
Yeah, and Crossbones is in it. But Daniel Bruhl is playing Baron Zemo. He was in that Ron Howard film Rush. Played the guy opposite Chris Hemsworth.
I didn't see it.
He was
I
also
wanted to see it, but I
he was
didn't
also
see
the
it.
German soldier that Shoshana was being romanced by in Inglourious Basterds.
Sniper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's playing Baron Zemo, who's a Captain America foe that eventually creates the Masters of Evil, like counterpoint to the Avengers. It's just like a collection of villains, and they fight. So, but yeah, I'm like, all right, so we got the Civil War going on, but we haven't even seen Baron Zemo yet. Like, he's supposed to be the main villain. So
interesting.
I wonder if it's going to be more of like a setup to Infinity War kind of a thing, where it's going to take these characters, like these villains are going to be there, but they're not fully established until towards the end, and then that's going to carry over to Infinity War. Yeah, and then you've got Thanos.
Like, the Masters of Evil will join forces with Thanos.
Oh my god,
he's gonna be like, I don't really need your help, but okay.
But I guess you can tag along.
Face.
Yeah,
I'm betting on Cap biting the bullet by the end
in
of the
Civil
movie.
War.
Yeah, that's if they fully adapt Civil War, because in the comics, by the end of it, Crossbones kills him.
Got it.
So do you think that's going to be what brings the team back together to fight in the Infinity War?
Yeah.
That's what I think too.
But Crossbones is I think he got his order. If I remember correctly, he got his orders from the Red Skull. So that would be a really nice reveal.
That he,
like post credits, maybe. Like if that happens, that we see Crossbones like walk up to the Red Skull, and the Red Skull's like, "Good work," you know.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh fuck."
Maybe he looks a lot more haggard in this one.
Yeah.
Not so much plasticky.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That would. If
Hello,
they did it right.
I am a Red Skull.
Yeah. We still want the same guy playing him though.
Yeah.
I don't know if he will though. I don't know if Hugo
did.
Weaving's coming back, but he did a great job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I just think that the prosthetics didn't look that good.
If they have to, just replace him with Christoph Waltz.
That's not a bad call.
Not a bad call.
Better.
Even better.
He's really German.
There we go.
So,
There you go.
Austrian German. So
Oh, okay.
not quite. But.
X-Men. I feel like I missed the X-Men one.
I can't remember the X-Men one.
Pretty much you got to see
Psylocke flip through the air.
Oh
cut
yes,
through
no,
a
I did see
car
that.
with
That was
her.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still confused about special effects.
Apocalypse still looks dumb to me, like face-wise. Everything
Okay.
else, I'm like, okay, I love that he changed his size. I'm on board with that.
I'm still a fan of that shot where he stops Professor or whoever.
I think it's Professor
Is
X.
it Professor X? I
But
think it
why
is.
he's trying to punch him? Like,
I don't know either.
like, let me punch you in my wheelchair.
But he stops him and then like slowly grows
Yeah.
to then grabbing the hand to the grabbing the whole body. I think it's
Yeah.
a really cool
Shot.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. There's
the
like
face.
some of the special effects scenes with like when they're showing like Archangel and Psylocke and Storm, like those like weird
Yeah,
slow
they
motion
just
scenes.
don't
Like they
look
don't
good.
look right.
Yeah.
They look like too fake.
Yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
That was the main issue that I had, because then when they back off and you see the city being destroyed, it looks way better.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I think that a lot of the stuff that we're seeing is in like some sort of dream or vision type thing.
Yeah.
That's
Or
why
just
it looks weird.
Maybe
But I don't know.
Maybe they're still not done.
They're
with
still
the
tweaking
special
it. They're like,
effects.
we just can't get it to not look right.
We got a few more months. Let's go.
Yeah.
Finish it.
We don't want Wolverine Origins claws happen again. We're still tweaking it.
Still tweak. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
It wasn't much more than the other trailer, besides like the growl or
The beginning
Yeah.
and the end. Well, then you get that house shot too.
yeah.
So like at the beginning you get the setup. I think it's like one of those trailers that pretty much sums up the movie. Like
Yeah.
where it's like at the beginning she gets into a car accident, she gets taken to this bunker, we'll call it, and then that rest of the movie is pretty much in the bunker. At the very end she escapes, and that's when she realizes shit is hit the fan.
Yeah.
I really hope not.
See, everybody keeps
Well-
on talking about. I am completely fine with them it not being at all about the monster, which we already pretty much know that it's not, because the poster's tagline is "Monsters come in many forms" or something
Yeah.
like that. So it's
The
like
monster is John Goodman.
exactly.
I know.
So I don't think that it has anything to do necessarily with like the main plot of it isn't about the monster. I think it's about being
Yeah.
trapped in this house and not knowing why you're trapped in this house.
It's just a weird direction to take that franchise. It's
Well, it wasn't originally I thought I had read somewhere that it wasn't originally planned to be a Cloverfield movie at all. Like it
Yeah.
was adapted later to be that.
That's weird.
which I could see. I'm always down for more John Goodman though. So
Right, and the movie looks good to me. Like regardless if it had anything to do with the monster or not, like I'm gonna go see it. Like it just looks like a good movie.
as long as we eventually get Cloverfield Monster versus Godzilla, that's all that really matters.
Which Godzilla?
I don't know, because I don't know how big the Cloverfield monster is, and if it's American Godzilla, like the newest one, that thing is way too big. It would just step on it. Like,
I don't think so. I mean, the Cloverfield monster was quote unquote, if I remember right, the plot is like a baby, right?
yeah, maybe
And
he's
it like
gotten bigger.
falls against a skyscraper in the first one when they're flying
that's
around the
true.
helicopter.
Yeah,
So they could play with the size a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I don't want that.
I don't want that movie.
we kind of already got it because the monster, the one monster in Godzilla, the Gareth Edwards one, kind of looked like the Cloverfield monster,
Right.
kind of.
Slightly. I would, as cool as I would be to have like a crossover, I would much rather just have Godzilla fight Godzilla monsters.
Yeah.
And I think they're still trying to do the Godzilla versus King Kong. So
Yeah,
that can be my crossover. I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
Cloverfield can stay where it's at.
Yeah, Cloverfield's its own thing.
Cloverfield's.
maybe they can have
I
their
don't
own
know.
monsters. That'd be cool.
I always thought if like the Cloverfield movie were to get a sequel, the movie I feel like would start with like the end of the videotape from the first movie, and then the camera just pull out to reveal it's on a screen that's being watched by the characters in the new one, and so it would be like it's not found footage anymore, it's a normal movie, and then it would go on from there.
Yeah.
So I thought that's how like you would continue the story, and obviously I was wrong because they're doing something completely different with it,
Right.
which is interesting.
The other thing that I thought was interesting too is like the scream in the monster yell, whatever. Like I saw where they compared it, and it's a little different.
Ooh.
So I don't know if it's supposed to be the same monster
Or a
or if
different
it's-
monster?
Yeah, or a different monster. What's going on there?
Well, I thought it was weird because it could just be like the yell could be dubbed over a different part, but I thought it was weird that like the part it's like a shot of a house with a giant light behind it,
Right.
which is not anything to do with the monster. 'Cause
Yeah.
as far as I remember, there was no. It didn't have like the deadlights from It or anything. Like
Right.
it wasn't like it didn't have anything like that. So Yeah, you like that reference?
Yeah.
deep cut there.
Uh,
But so I thought that was kind of interesting, and it might just be like they liked that shot and they wanted to put the yell
Right.
over it,
Yeah.
or it could be like the monster is like actually behind her, and that's like a helicopter flying towards the monster, or it could be a million different
Yeah.
things. But I just thought it was interesting that they chose to do it like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it.
we'll see. When's it come out?
March.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, really?
So
Is that soon? That's
Yeah.
pretty quick.
March 13th.
Yeah. And then
isn't that like 2 weeks before Batman vs Superman?
Something
I
like
think.
that.
Yeah. Well, I bet they got to get it out.
Yeah.
Because after that, it's like they've got no shot. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
April in between Batman vs Superman and Civil War. But
Yeah. And then is there one more for Super Bowl, or is Batman for Superman?
I think there weren't any more Super Bowl ones. But yeah, Batman vs Superman did come out with their final trailer.
Yes. Besides, there was a Jungle Book trailer, which I really liked, but we don't really talk about it.
No, we
You
don't.
guys
need
are
to
a
talk
big fan
about
of it. I think it looks good.
It
I'm
looks
excited.
good. Yeah.
It looks,
I'm excited for the voice cast.
Exactly.
Christopher Walken's in it, so
Yeah, I'm
Can't beat
excited
that.
for it. Okay, we'll move on, Josiah. Batman vs. Superman. Or actually, he's going to want to move on fast. Batman vs. Superman as well.
Probably.
But, wait, was there Suicide Squad Super Bowl?
I don't
think so.
No, I didn't think so either. Okay. Batman vs. Superman had a new trailer come out that wasn't during the Super Bowl, and it was the final trailer.
Right.
And it was, like, I'm not against the movie or for the movie, but it had the first sequence of events that I was like, I want to see that
Yeah,
in full form.
where
and it was
the Batman
the
fight,
Batman
where he
fight in
like
the beginning.
busts through and just starts
Right,
beating
yeah.
the crap out of everybody.
Yeah, because everything felt really tight on that scene. Like all like the hits and everything. Like you
Yeah.
felt like you were like Batman was really hitting these people.
It was hard.
Like smashing their faces
Yeah.
into the ground and stuff like
It
that.
reminded me a lot of what we've seen in like Watchmen. Even.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and that goes back to what I've said about Zack Snyder. He's got a really good eye for how something should look. I'm just worried about the substance behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And even this, where like there was a lot that I liked about this trailer, and it made me wonder why they even bothered with that second trailer that gave away the plot of the movie. Because they could have just not done that one, given us all of the same hits that they wanted to have from that second trailer. We got with this one. We got that same Lex Luthor line. Where she's like, "You're psychotic," and
Yeah.
and that doesn't make any sense though. What he's saying, like a 3-syllable word, too big for any thought, too big for a little mind, whatever. That doesn't make sense. Like, no one calls people psychotic because they don't understand what they're doing. They call you psychotic because they know what you're doing, and you're psychotic. So, whatever. Ham-fisted writing. That's what I'm worried we're getting with this movie is where we're like, yeah, this looks sweet, but wait a minute, why did you say that? That doesn't make any sense. And the one big problem I had with it was at the end where Superman goes to swing at Batman and Batman outright just stops his punch in that suit. Because in the comics, at least, that they're adapting from, that suit that Batman had was basically just so he had a fighting chance, but it wasn't like, he is not strong enough to just put his hand up like, ha, look at that, I stopped you, and then have Superman like, what? Like, Superman is still infinitely stronger than Batman. This is just his, like, maybe I could be somewhat close to you in strength thing. But who knows? This is a new universe. Maybe they're not making Superman as overly powerful as he used to be.
Or maybe
I don't
something
know.
else is at play.
Maybe there's kryptonite involved.
Yeah, it wasn't at one like. Isn't there something with like in the comics, Green Arrow blowing up an arrow or something?
Yeah, Green Arrow shoots an arrow at Superman that Superman catches because Batman knows he's going to catch it, but then it blows up and releases kryptonite dust that gets on Superman and weakens him so that Batman can then start beating the shit out of him.
Right.
But-
So maybe there's something that comes into play at that point because like at some point Batman has to do at least somewhat damage to Superman. And it's
Yeah.
going to be a kind of a boring fight.
Yeah,
so
otherwise you're like, oh, God, stop! He's just kicking his ass. Stop! Throw in the towel.
I do really like the scene though when
throw in the towel.
Batman hits Superman with his car. Like I still love that
It's
scene.
like
Yeah.
kink, and then it like just goes
And it
away.
just
Yeah.
rolls off of him.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like,
That's like one scene that I really do enjoy. Like I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy the movie, but it's not anything that piques my interest anymore. Like
Yeah.
the idea of that Comic Con trailer that was released was just really good.
yeah.
Like because it left a lot to be
Like
Imagine.
imagine,
Yeah,
wondered
design.
about.
yeah,
like,
there was a lot behind it, and I was excited for it. And then I loved like Lex Luthor's voiceover, and
Yeah.
I don't know the quips.
Yeah.
I've said it before. It's like I just wish Superman wasn't in it. Like this is a Batman that I feel like I've wanted for a really long time. Where like in older movies, Batman like busts through walls and stuff, and it looks intense. And then he goes to fight, and it's never like hard. It's always like little fights. But this is the movie where he like busts in that window or like comes through the floor and then like literally hits somebody and like flips them almost up like backwards.
Yeah.
Because when he hits them, it actually is hitting somebody.
Someone's clearly been watching the Arkham series video games.
Yes.
And they're like, all right, so they did it pretty good, so why don't we just like make a movie like this?
Which is fine because I love those games. Like when I fought people in like games, I was like, this is how Batman should hit somebody.
Yeah.
Where like
I'm with Josiah for pretty much the whole movie though. I'm excited for it. I'm probably gonna enjoy it. I'm just worried about the substance that we're gonna get out of it, and like whether or not it's gonna be one where I'm like, I'm gonna watch this a lot. You know?
Right, yeah.
I worry that because we don't have a director who's known for quality as far as his movies beyond the visual aspect of it, that who knows what we're gonna get.
he does do good adaptations.
Yeah,
Which is good.
Yeah.
Because I love Watchmen. As much as people like say
I thought it
like
was
the
a great
comic book
movie,
is
yeah.
great or like better, and the comic book is arguably definitely better, but like it is a great adaptation of the comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Graphic
it does help that you had the amazing writing of Alan Moore from the comic
yes.
book to just literally lift from and go, all right, well, I mean, my work is done.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wait, you gave me a script. Can I just use that graphic?
I'm just gonna
the
use
graphic
that.
novels right
Yeah.
there.
I'm going to use this.
There's
Is that
dialogue
cool?
in
So-
bubbles. It's
Yeah.
cooler to look at. It's fun.
Yeah,
So,
the
yeah,
shots
we'll-
are already set up.
So we'll see. I'm like, I'm just worried about the quip. It just doesn't seem to fit with the look that they're going for.
And
with
the
this.
world.
And the world, yeah.
That's why I think I'm more excited for Suicide Squad, because I know that, you know, Batman's not going to be in it a lot, but he's going to be in there, and I like that part of that world better, I think. And I think there's more that we're going to get, because like we're going to get Wonder Woman, and I'm sure they're going to do little nods or little tiny reveals of Aquaman, and I thought they said something
Flash,
of the
probably.
Flash. So
They
which
had
will
somebody
that'd be
casted.
cool.
Is it Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
I think. It's an interesting choice.
That would be cool, but I think that we're gonna get like these really dynamic characters in Suicide Squad, which I'm super excited for. I know that you're not 100% behind the look,
Yeah, that's...
but we know the substance is probably gonna
Oh
be
yeah, from a substance standpoint, that one I like better, because for me it's just the coat of paint on Suicide Squad, where everything I've seen from like the dialogue and everything, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense, you know, like Joker makes sense,
good. Yeah.
and so it's just visually maybe that's what we need to do, is just have the guys directing Suicide Squad and Zack Snyder team up.
Right.
And so like Zack Snyder, you can help it look nice, and I forget his name. What is it? David? Who's
That
the guy?
sounds right.
David something. The guy who's directing
Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
I didn't actually look into
I
who
can't
was
remember what his name
directing
is. It's like David something.
David Ayer?
Yep. All right.
Ayer.
Yeah, David Ayer. Yeah. So maybe team up. We'll see. Probably not though.
Probably not gonna happen. But so before, that's probably all the trailer.
I think that's all the
heard about,
trailers.
right?
Yeah.
I have a little bit of news that I thought was interesting, and I mean, there's not a whole lot behind it, but they just talked about how Johnny Depp, I think, has been casted as the Invisible Man, and Universal's like monster universe that they're creating, which I'm still on the edge about the universe.
What movies isn't there already movies involved in that?
The Mummy has been in the works for a while and kind of went quiet.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
I don't think they're gonna have the Dracula one in it though.
But isn't the
Dracula-
Dracula part of that?
Dracula Untold, they created the movie and then they shot a scene at the end to fit it into that universe if they wanted to. It doesn't have to be, but they did it
So they
to where if they
could
want it, they
recast
could, but they
Dracula.
could redo Dracula if they wanted. Because they kind of like, they're like, oh, look at, well, because like if you've seen Dracula, or if you know anything of Dracula Untold, it's like the origin story of Dracula, which
Right,
is
yeah.
way long time ago, and the little scene is in like modern day. So
Gotcha.
they go, hey, it could be tied in this universe because probably the other ones will be modern day.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but
Who's
at the
Tom
same
Cruise
time,
playing in this? Isn't Tom Cruise like in
Tom
this
Cruise
universe?
was cast in The Mummy, and I don't know if
as the Mummy. Or
I don't know
as
if he's gonna be cast as the Mummy
Or
or,
like-
they're doing like a Brendan Fraser Mummy.
new
where he
Brendan
plays
Fraser.
Brendan
Just
Fraser
bring Brendan
character.
Fraser back.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed those movies.
if you
except
watch
the third one.
like the
That
yeah,
one was bad.
we were just talking about that. It's
Yeah.
a Mummy movie that doesn't have the Mummy in it.
Yeah. They forgot that to have a mummy movie, you have
Jet
to have
Li.
a mummy.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser is not the mummy.
Yeah, there was a Mummy in Jet Li, but he wasn't the Mummy.
Yeah.
It was like Imhotep's the mummy.
Yeah.
But like the
That guy
original,
was such a good villain.
yeah,
He didn't even speak.
he didn't even talk a whole lot.
He was like, I'm like, oh, whoa, fuck, yeah, fight that guy.
And the
Benny.
Benny?
Benny
Everybody
was great,
loves
yeah.
Benny.
Oh, look, O'Connell, you're on the wrong side of the river.
No, he's
He's on the horses, yeah, and he's like,
You're on
hey,
the
Benny,
wrong
you're on the
side of
wrong
the
side of the river. Oh, shit. Fucking
Oh my
Benny.
god! Then he's trying to get out of the pier. He's like, "I'm sorry, Benny." Then Benny goes and gets his comeuppance. Oh, great movies. The second one though, oh man, the CG. Oh, the Scorpion King CG.
Scorpion CG rock?
Oh man.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was rough.
It's rough, but it's still a fun watch.
Yeah,
but
up until that part.
yeah, if they're talking about like doing the Mummy, like the classic Mummy, Imhotep the Mummy is like the main guy. Like,
Yeah.
and like
He's the guy.
So I don't know if Tom Cruise is going to be that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
We'll see where they're going with this.
Johnny Depp being cast as the Invisible Man, I think, is a cool fit.
Yeah, that'd be cool because we probably won't see him a whole lot. So.
We won't see him, but like at the same time, it's a normal character that then gets this happens to him, and he goes like insane because of the drugs, which I think Johnny Depp could play. And every time I think of the Invisible Man, I think of one scene where he's like, I think he did something, he killed somebody or got somebody hurt in a car crash or something. And he's skipping down the road, and you just see pants skipping down the road, and he's like laughing. It's just like really creepy. So
maybe we'll get another sort of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kind of thing out of this.
That'd be great. I like that movie, and I want Kevin Bacon back as like an Invisible
Hollow Man?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
Hollow Man.
there you go.
Hollow Man was great.
Let's do like an Invisible Man showdown where anyone who's been an Invisible Man fight each other.
I mean, Hollow Man.
You could bring in Chevy Chase.
yeah,
He did the Invisible Man movie.
Yep.
I mean, Hollow
my
Man
God.
is the Invisible Man, just tweaked.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more science behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was about it.
science.
And
Quote fingers.
and rape.
I don't know if the quote fingers
Yeah.
should be used
No,
in that.
well, because it was rape, and I'm quoting rape.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't
okay. Got it. So, that's really like all like the news I had besides when we get talking about Deadpool. But I did find this article that I read that I crack it up. So I wanted to share some of these things with you. It is some of the worst reviews on Amazon for movies. So if you go on Amazon, obviously you can review stuff on Amazon. Everyone uses Amazon, and movie reviews are always funny. But these are some of the worst reviews for movies. And I just want to read a couple of these to you. So, The Wolf of Wall Street, 1 star. There were no wolves in the movie.
That's a legitimate argument.
That is legit. By Joe Watson, December 14th, 2014.
Wait a minute.
What?
What year did it come out?
The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 2014?
Like,
Yeah,
did it come out Christmas Day of 2014 though? Didn't you say that review was December 14th?
Yeah.
So that guy's reviewing
December
it-
5th.
Oh, all right. The movie came out December 5th?
Oh, no, that's when here, I'll look up when the movie came out.
I don't know. Sorry to derail this thing. I was just thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. Is this asshole reviewing the movie before it even
Wolf of
came
Wall
out?
Street was 2013.
All right. Never mind.
There we go.
Whoa.
Whoa, it's been that long.
Whoa.
Ooh.
White,
Almost 3 years.
White House Down, 2 stars. Not what I expected. Thought Channing and Jamie were holding hands on the cover. Was expecting something a little more sensual. What?
Now I'm just thinking of all the weird things that White House Down could also mean.
Right? That was Keith Jerry.
Ooh.
I don't know. But, there we go. 1 star. This could never happen. Oh, yeah. A boat this big could really sink. Titanic.
Nice.
Come on now. Jeez. Big Hero 6. 1 star. What happened to films 1 through 5? Come on. Just
That's so stupid.
1 star. Monsters Inc. Too many monsters. It's like what are people doing? Come on.
There's too many monsters in this movie.
There's too many monsters.
That's why I'm glad you can like thumbs up and thumbs down reviews. They're
Yes.
like, this is not helpful at all. Like what?
This one is for all you parents out there. 1 star. Inappropriate. I bought this for my 3-year-old and was shocked to see how violent and filthy it was. Die Hard. Watch out, everybody. This one's funny.
Die is in the title. What did you
Right?
expect?
Yeah, this one's funny just because I don't understand. Mighty Morphin Power Ranger the movie. 1 star. Great movie. Greatest movie ever. I'm confused. Does 1 star mean good or bad? He
Nice.
doesn't even know how to review
Like
things.
it's the number 1 movie in my mind, so it gets the number 1 star.
Yeah.
It gets top star.
Yeah, Pitch Perfect, number 1 star. Why? What the fuck is wrong with filmmakers today? This has captured my daughter's flights of fantasy, and now she thinks she can sing. We have to eventually tell her, but are lacking a tactful way to save her from her voice.
Ooh. Okay.
That would be kind of rough, I guess.
I know, but why are you blaming
Yeah,
the movie?
like every girl's watching it like, I'm gonna start an a cappella band.
No, you're not.
You're not. Ooh.
And there's some bad ones, but
Yikes.
there's also some good ones. A Bug's Life, 5 stars. I never knew what struggles bugs went through. Changed my life. So it's good. You know, there's good ones too.
Yeah, the ants are always worried about those motherfucking grasshoppers. It's just like they're coming back. They're coming back, and they're gonna take
This
all
one's
our
gonna hit
food.
home because it's actually quite topical with new stuff coming. Ghostbusters.
Ooh.
2 stars. What did I expect? ... I remember watching this in a theater. I didn't remember all the spirit issues that they dealt with. Not what we need in this house. Ghostbusters.
I don't need to deal with this.
1 star. Graphic. I did not like the treatment of people. 12 Years a Slave.
God. Oh God.
Oh my god. It's like, what did you expect? Really?
Is that it?
No, I got a couple more.
Oh my god.
Goodfellas. 1 star. I rented this movie because this dude that comes in my work was in it. Couldn't find him. 1 star.
What? These bastards.
Edward Scissorhands. 2 out of 5 stars. Edward has scissors for hands, but no one ever says why. And I'm pretty sure they explained that in the beginning of the movie.
That's like the whole.
That's like the first 5 minutes. So, oh my god. Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa.
Oh,
1
God.
star. Gives grandpas a bad name.
Well,
Oh my god. This is probably my favorite. All right. We will end with this one.
Okay.
all right.
Jurassic Park. 1 star. I received this DVD with a huge hole in it. Yes. Yes, you did.
Oh God.
Oh,
That was
man.
clever.
That is just like, what, who, come on. What? How do you not know DVDs come with a hole of it, but yet you know how to use a computer to write a review?
I think that was a fake. I mean, I think that all of those were fake, obviously.
Oh no, those are real. Those are real. Those are verified. All right.
Those are verified.
Those verified.
Verified purchaser.
Verified by us here at the TheCineChat. Real reviews of movies. So, God, the whole one. I just like the whole one. That was funny.
That was good.
That was
I
a good
like
one.
that.
Yeah.
So, we all saw Deadpool. Now, before we get into spoilers and stuff, we can talk a little bit about what we thought about, what we liked about it, because I'm pretty sure we all really liked it.
Yeah.
And so, first off, go see the movie. If,
Yeah.
you like comic books and you like comedy, if you like movies, go see the movie, pretty much. It's a fantastic, fun ride. It's funny, it's clever. Tons of good stuff about it. It is a little gory, but that's also good.
Oh yeah, it was great.
So Josiah, I think you probably had the highest hopes for it.
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Probably.
Tell us what you thought.
I mean, it was everything that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was probably the best adaptation I've seen of from a comic, the pages of the comic book on screen, because it didn't really they changed a little bit about the origins story, just a little bit, but
Yeah.
they made it so it fit within
Yeah.
that world. Because I can't give anything away, but
All right.
they changed a little bit about the origins of it. But everything fits so perfectly. I think they did a really good balance of the breaking the fourth wall and not breaking the fourth wall, and then keeping almost Wade Wilson and Deadpool as you felt like there was the same person, but when he had the suit on, he was Deadpool, and when he was in the suit, he was more Wade, and he was more human, I guess.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good how they dealt with, because the movie's budget, they had a budget of, I forgot what it was. I think what was the final budget of the movie? Was it
Like
56
58 or
Yeah,
something?
58 million.
And then like right when they were about to start shooting the film, they slashed I think 7 or 8 million. Like right when they started shooting, so they had to cut out certain things. So that's why they rewrote the script like last minute to fit with that, and they did it perfectly. Like they did it like if you watch the movie, you can actually see the parts that they did it with, like the parts that they cut out because of the dialogue that they used to explain why certain things were missing. But yeah, I mean, like I've read a lot of Deadpool comics. Like I don't think I've read all of them. I read a lot of the Deadpool cable series and then the Daniel Way ones. Daniel Way, I think it is. I think that's who it was. But I read a lot of his collections, and they did just a great job adapting it to where the movie felt like it was its own comic book.
Yeah.
And music choice for that movie was amazing.
Oh, yes. The music is a highlight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything. I mean, I have like little issues with it, but it all comes down to the budget that it had. Because 58 million is a lot of money, but when you talk about
what they have to do,
when you talk about big budget movies, like that's not anything. That's not a big budget at all.
My only complaint with the movie is that I didn't get to watch it with you and see your face watching the movie.
I mean, I was smiling the entire time.
I missed that.
There's two scenes in particular where I couldn't stop myself from giggling. Like, and it was like, you know, when you try to hold like a laugh in and it turns into like a little girl's giggle.
Yeah.
Like it was like doing that, like trying not to laugh, like because when I was laughing, nobody else was laughing.
Yeah, there were plenty of that for me.
Oh my god, because it was crazy. I think they did a really good job with the story arc too, like the way that they kind of do it, like they go back and forth with the timeline a little bit, and I thought that helped a lot because I think they had to cut out like a full action sequence from the movie originally. I'm not entirely sure from the original script, but I thought there was like a perfect balance of all of that. But
yeah, we're not sure. We haven't got our copies of the original script yet to double check.
Well, I know the script leaked online a couple years ago.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I think you can find like the original script that they had for it, because they wrote the script 4 or 5 years ago, and then that's how they got the Fox gave them a budget to do the test footage,
and then they leaked that.
And then they leaked that because Fox wasn't doing anything with that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
And then the positive response, Fox was like, all right,
we'll do it. Which was great. Yeah.
And then this weekend it almost like tripled its money.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, I know that they were originally right before the movie came out, because they greenlit the sequel
was
Wednesday?
like on Tuesday or Wednesday or something.
Yeah. And then they were projecting it to make over weekend. Originally they said 60 to 80 million, and then opening preview night they made 14 million, and then on Friday opening day they made 42 million.
Yeah.
So they're like already they've made their money back and technically one
for
day.
you those doing the math at home, that's a return on their investment already.
Yeah, so then now they're projected to make 120 million over opening weekend, which is like double the money, and then they still have the rest of
the run
because there's nothing really coming out for another nothing like to really compete against it
until like which one's
probably until Batman
like as far as comic book movies go, you don't have anything coming out until Batman. So I thought that, I mean, it was such a fresh movie. That was the biggest thing to me. It was like something we've never seen before. And I think a lot of people that don't like it, like if you don't like Ryan Reynolds, I don't think you'll like the movie.
That's true. Like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool is what Robert Downey Jr. was in Iron Man, in the beginning. Yeah. It was the perfect casting because that's who they are.
Yeah.
But then also they make the movie because of who they are. Iron Man couldn't have worked without Robert Downey Jr., I don't think, as well. And Deadpool would never have worked without Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. No, I don't think that there's anybody else that they could have really casted to bring that character to life the way that Ryan Reynolds did.
Oh no.
And whether or not you like him or not, you can't argue that fact.
This is one of those this is one of those moments where I'm like, I don't like the Oscars because there's no way Ryan Reynolds would ever win an Oscar for playing Deadpool. However,
He deserves an award.
As something should go, because like no one will ever play that type of character as well as he can play that type of character.
Right.
Plus to basically have a second chance to correct the character.
Yes.
Like that's something that's almost unheard of. Like this quickly, like, oh, we tried it and we've ruined it, and instead of recasting it, we're gonna let the same guy
Come in
and fix what we fucked up.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Because they pretty much acknowledge that even in the movie. There's a couple call outs to other... I mean, there's call outs everywhere.
The dude was like, I'm gonna... Well, we'll wait till we get to the spoiler, discussion.
Part, yeah.
You know.
So Josh, you liked it too. We'll get to the review real quick.
Like, I don't have a huge, I guess, background in Deadpool. I've never read the comics or anything. I've always been familiar with the character, though, because of his mainstream popularity.
Well, he pops in on other comic books.
Yeah,
So,
you know, he's one of like the newer comic book characters. He's only been around for like the last 25, 30 years.
yeah, because he came out around in 92, I think.
Which is young by comic book standards,
Right.
you know, where you have like Superman who's old as dirt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 80.
Deadpool is actually a one character that I picked up a series of comics and read the series of comics with, because if you listen to this podcast at all, I'm not really comic book savvy. I know shit, but I don't know. I don't read comics very often. But
Right.
Deadpool is one of the one characters I looked at. I was like, I need to read this.
I need
guy.
to know more
I
about
need
this
guy.
guy.
I want to know more about him.
Right, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I went by myself, so I wasn't like with a group. I was cracking up at most of the jokes, even the ones that like the general audience kind of just like, way over their heads.
There's so many.
Yeah,
It's like
a joke,
every
joke every half minute, basically. I loved the cast. I thought everybody did a great job. Even though the plot overall is kind of like a by the book superhero movie plot, it worked for what it was. So
because they almost make fun of that
oh yeah,
in the movie too. So like, even though it's like this is a superhero movie, they make fun of it by being a super. I don't know. It's really interesting the way they did it.
They
It totally
poke fun
works.
at themselves.
yeah.
Yep. So it's very, very cool. So if that's all we got to say, we're probably going to go into spoilers now.
Well, what'd you think about it?
Oh, did I? Well,
Yeah.
I thought I thought it was great. I loved it. I went in thinking I'm going to like this movie, but I'm going to be kind of worried because I take things too seriously sometimes, and I know this movie's not going to be serious. So I'm like, I'm gonna probably like it, but I'm probably not going to like it as much as like Josiah or somebody else that can turn off their brains for movies. In the best way possible. The best way possible.
Thank you.
But as soon as like the opening credits, which we'll talk about, came on, I immediately became like a child that just didn't care about anything
I think that's like,
and just was able to sit and watch it.
yeah, let's move into the spoiler part.
Okay,
we're
I tried
going.
and you wanted me to talk.
Because I need to talk about
Okay,
this.
we're going into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen Deadpool, thank you for listening. Please subscribe on iTunes and check us out on thecinnamon.net. We're getting into spoilers, so you've been officially warned.
And here we go.
Here we go.
So, all right. So that opening credits
Yeah.
scene with the music that was playing and the fact that like, because at first I guess I didn't see the first credit that came by, and I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at what this like camera was doing because it's like wrapping around this car accident and everything.
And once we see millions of movies. How often do you read all?
Yeah.
the
So,
credits in
but
the
then
beginning?
all of a sudden, one of them, I forgot what the credit like actually said, but it said something like an overpaid actor or something like that.
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that. And I think it was referring to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And that's what caught my eye. I was like, wait, what? What is this? And then it went through like all of the
Yeah.
like tropes of like character casting and everything, and I thought that was great. The music selection was spot on, like really good at offsetting the mood.
Yeah.
Like because you have this like very gratuitous violent
Yeah.
scene going on, and you've got like Deadpool like pretty much giving a guy a wedgie.
Yeah, like whoa.
Yeah, like-
while having his balls in some other dudede's face and a gun in another dude's
yeah,
face. And,
yeah.
And then
And then there's like one wallet that's got like a Green Lantern thing on it.
Yeah,
oh
and
yeah,
then
and
the
then
card
there's,
coming
like,
up.
oh, God.
in the magazine with
Ryan
with
Reynolds on it.
Yeah.
The one thing with the credits, each credit corresponded to somebody. Like it was like an overpaid actor, Ryan Reynolds, a CGI character, Colossus,
Yeah.
a British villain.
a British villain, Ajax, like a moody teenager, next Sonic Teenage War. The one that I didn't get, it said a gratuitous cameo. Who was the gratuitous?
Stan Lee.
Oh,
that's what I
okay.
figured it was
Yeah.
referring to.
I guess because I always expect Stan Lee's cameos that I
Yeah.
didn't think of it, and I was like, did I miss it? Like, who
Also,
was
great
it?
Stanley cameo.
It
yeah.
was because it was dirty. He was a dirty man.
He was
Yeah,
dirty
and that's
man.
what
He
was
like,
great about
coming up to the stage
Stage.
next.
Yeah.
Got chastity.
Yeah,
know,
that was good. Like
It's
Stanley
like,
as
God, Stan the man.
yeah. So I mean, I'm
So
glad.
now
that-
I don't feel bad that because I thought I was like, fuck, did I miss it? Like I sat through the whole movie. Like, did I miss the gratuitous cameo? But no, all right, cool.
What's a joke that you guys laughed at in the movie that no one else, like you guys were talking about, like maybe the audience
God.
can laugh at?
I mean, there
I'd
was
have to
there
watch
was
it
so
again,
many that like one of the ones I laughed at pretty like the whole sequence when Deadpool is like. I mean, there's so many parts in it. So it's like when Deadpool is on the bridge with Ajax, and then Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead show
Yeah.
up. When he turns and Ajax is gone, and he does that thing where he puts his hands on his face, and like you could just tell the expression that was coming over him, and he screams. Like that part made me laugh so hard, and then it was when he's fighting Colossus and he's breaking his hands and everything.
Yeah.
And like it was so stupid and funny to me.
Yeah.
Like I was giggling. Right before that, it was like when he was first like face to face with Ajax, and Colossus stands behind him, and he turns or he puts his hand behind his head and grabs Colossus's balls.
Yeah.
He's like, "Daddy."
Yeah.
like that was like I was laughing at that pretty hard.
Mine was when he's getting drug away by a class, and he's like, "You guys ever see 127 Hours?" Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I died at that. I
Yeah,
don't even know
yeah.
why. Like,
'Cause I knew it was coming. I was like, oh fuck, here we
and
go.
everyone else, like, kind of maybe there might have been a little chuckle, but I was like dying. I don't even know why. I was like that.
The fucking
It's just
baby
so funny.
hand.
The baby hand was so good.
I think my favorite, like I thought going into it that his interactions with Weasel were gonna be my favorite, and they were up there. But I think my favorite is probably his with Al, the old blind lady that he lives
Yeah.
with.
Oh,
just
yeah.
because the interactions they have, like when he's getting ready to leave, and he's like, "Just so you know, I love you," and there's a stash of cocaine hidden somewhere in the house, along with the cure to blindness.
yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck. And I'm just like, oh god, fucking, you know. And
such a
then,
dick.
then Weasel's like, "You want to get fucked up?" Like,
That one, and then I loved when he was like, or she's like, "Love is blind." He's like, "No, it's not. You are."
yeah. Or the whole trope, like, oh, the hero's going off, the sidekick's got to stay behind, and he's like, I would go with you, Wade, but I don't want to.
But I don't want
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't want to. And just the Blade joke that they snuck in there, where
Oh, I missed that.
Ajax and Angel show up, and
Yeah.
they're like trying to rough him up, and everybody's holding their guns, and he's like, "What do you guys want? Like, how about wear a non-monochromatic outfit?"
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
And then they're
yeah.
walking away. And he's like, "Have fun at your midnight showing of Blade 2."
Yeah.
It's like, oh god.
I
Like,
do remember.
Yeah.
that now.
I was like, okay.
I mean,
So
there was
good.
that movie was packed full of jokes. I think one of my favorite jokes they got in there was the stab. Like when they did so many references to X-Men, which was perfect. The
Yeah.
amount, like when he's making fun of the whole X-Men mansion, and then he goes there, and this is part of the whole budget
Yep.
cuts, is there was supposed to be 4 X-Men, and then they cut the budget. So they only had room for 2.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like, "Are you 2 the only ones here?"
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines. He's just like, "Man, quite a big house. It's crazy. I only run into you two."
Like, it's almost as if the studio only had enough money for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that.
It
whole
worked
thing.
out though, because Colossus was the perfect straight man to Deadpool's just crazy off the fucking wall, you know. And now that they got Colossus done perfectly, this is the best Colossus, even though we've only gotten one other one in the X-Men films. That guy never sounded Russian, didn't look right because of the liquid metal kind of skin
T1
effect
the
that they
T1000
used.
look.
Yeah, where this one looked like it was just steel plate
Plates,
metal
yeah.
all over his body. Sounded Russian, was just this giant character.
Right.
And the suit that Negasonic is wearing.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's your proof, people, that you can have a classic style X-Men suit and it works on camera.
Yeah.
The
Mike.
characters.
Yeah, it works
themselves.
perfectly. Like I was thrown back
Now,
by that.
now, granted, hers is more in the vein of the New Mutants, which comes later in the comic books, where they wear like yellow and black.
Was that like from
Like I think mid '90s, maybe like
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
'90s.
yeah.
Like Magneto gets reformed, and he teaches the New Mutants at the school or some other shit. But like you could even just swap out that black for like a dark blue,
Like a really
and it
dark
would
blue.
work fine. Colossus' uniform looked good. Now traditionally he wears red and yellow, but it still looked fine. You know,
Yeah, it worked.
You don't need to have them wear black spandex in every movie. Apocalypse, which from what we've seen from X-Men Apocalypse, they're going right back to that black spandex, and it's like, God, fuck off, you know.
That and the other when he's like when Deadpool's getting drug away and he's like,
So we'll go see what the professor has to say about
yeah,
this.
who are you taking me to?
McAvoy or Stewart? His timelines are so confusing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, really. So it's just,
Oh my god!
you know,
Like just like calling out like the fact that Deadpool is a character that he knew he was in the comics, and the fact that when he's in the movie he knows
he's in a
the
movie.
Like
Yeah.
the whole thing, like they've always been talking about, like breaking the fourth wall. When he goes into that whole mode, when he's like breaks the 16 walls.
yeah,
That's like 16.
like his fucking ugly ass face in that fucking flower hat just looks at the camera and he's like, ooh, fourth wall break inside the fourth wall? That's like 16 walls.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
I will.
the spoiler part of the podcast is just quoting the movie.
Yeah.
I know that's all it's gonna be.
Colossus is like, who are you talking to? He's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. Like,
But there's actually a line right there I wondered about because he says because he has that line and then Colossus walks over to him and he's like, well, you're both coming with me,
oh yeah.
and I thought that was like, oh, so it's like
That's what I was
referencing
gonna
the
say.
fact that like other people noticed that Deadpool's kind of wonky. And it was like just a real
Yeah.
quick one, and that's the only thing that I've ever noticed the reference to. But it was just really quick.
So you read some of the comics. Like, did you read any of the ones like Wade Wilson is insane. Like he has gone insane to where I know in some of the comics they show the world through his eyes and what he sees. Mm-hmm. So I was always wondering, I was like, are they going to do that in this movie? Are they going to cut to like, because like there's times where like he's fighting Wolverine in the comics and shows Wolverine how he sees him, and Wolverine's just got like spoons, forks, and knives in between his fingers, and he looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like that whole scene when he's like when he gets
knife.
stabbed in the
Stabbed in the
head,
head.
and then he sees like those cartoon characters. I'm
Yeah.
like, there we go. There's the
Yep.
Deadpool vision.
And he's just like reaching out to her.
yeah, you could just tell he's like just out of his mind. So I wonder if like in that scene when he gets stabbed in the head, if that's the start really of his psychosis.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if that's really like maybe stabbed in the brain and like that part of the brain might not be right ever again.
Yeah.
Then they could really in the next
Play
one
with it.
like play with what he sees.
In the series that I read, it was he talked to the audience, and he talked. There was like 4 different things. He talked to the audience. He talked to Deadpool's zombie head that he carried around with him.
Oh yeah,
and he talked to what I assume is like another Deadpool within him.
Yeah,
So it was
he
like
argues.
Redbubble. Yeah, he
he
argued
argues
with
with himself. There's a couple Deadpools inside of his head. So.
And then he travels different universes and finds
Yeah.
other Deadpools, and he finds one that's like the guy takes off the mask and he looks really beautiful and like
Yeah.
really good looking.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool beats the shit out of him and has that line from Fight Club. He's just like, I wanted to destroy something beautiful. The
Yeah.
zombie head's like, isn't that from Fight Club? And Deadpool's like, don't ever talk about Fight Club. It's like, it was great.
yeah,
Yeah. I'd really like to see how they do where like Deadpool would read ahead in his own comic book to find out what happens. So he'd know like what to do. Like, all right, well, let's just all right. So I wonder if they'll do that like maybe in the sequel where he's like fighting somebody and he's like, God, fuck, I can't fucking beat this guy. Oh, wait a minute, let me just watch what happens.
Yeah.
Like, let me watch the movie.
Yeah.
Sort of just like Spaceballs, where they're like,
Yeah.
how are we gonna know where they are? Like, we can watch the movie. Like, what?
Yeah.
Spaceballs, instant video.
Yeah, I mean that would be a perfect
yeah.
way to adapt some of these things because there's so many things they could do with the
Yeah.
Deadpool
medium.
going forward.
Yeah. So
I would
I'm
even like to
pumped
see at one point
for where
there's
it's gonna
a
go.
set like they're shooting a scene and Deadpool just goes, oh, cut, and then like walks off and sits on a chair and like takes a drink.
Yeah.
And then walks back on set. He's like, all right, let's do it again. And then just starts going. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many things you could do with the medium and breaking
Right.
stuff that would be.
You
Within
just have
the
to
world.
find the line though, like because there's a line that you shouldn't go past because then it becomes like too absurd. I guess I
Yeah.
thought that like this movie did it perfectly.
Yep.
Like they never kept Deadpool from completely going off the rails.
I really enjoyed the villains too, even though they were somewhat generic. You know, I liked
Ajax and
Angel.
Angel Dust.
Yeah. Even though she was a little OP from the comics, like in the comics, she's not nearly as strong as Colossus. Pretty much in the comics, the only one who is as strong as Colossus is like Hulk, Juggernaut, Thor, all your heavy hitters.
Well, maybe Colossus wasn't trying very hard because it was a woman.
Yeah, it was
kind of has these like
where that moment where her tits hanging out.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, you are exposed. She's like, thank you. It was so nice. Then just boom, right in the balls.
I also like that they didn't just keep the comedy just to Deadpool, and they made Colossus have. He wasn't like trying to be
almost
funny,
unintentional,
but
jokes,
it was just like they just used him for comedy and stuff, and like the Negasonic
They used his character,
Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Like, God, that is the coolest name. Let's
What
switch.
in the ass? That's why. He said it, I think, like 2 or 3 times in the movie, but every time he was like, "What in the ass?"
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Her powers were way different from the comics, which is fine. Like,
I don't ever remember her in the comics. Like, she was a character that I was like, oh, I've actually never read about
Emma
her.
Frost student or something, and I think she had telepathy and maybe something else, but not, like Warhead power,
Well, I thought her name matched her powers.
Yeah, it definitely
never
in
really
this it matched
explained
way better. Yeah,
I was kind of surprised with Copycat or Vanessa.
Yeah,
because I thought that the whole set, like, I was like, oh, they're setting this up because they're gonna give her powers, like, while she's in this thing, like she's just gonna get like, powers or something. But then because she was always slated as being titled Copycat, which I knew because like her name was Vanessa whatever.
Yeah.
But then they like on IMDb now they like got rid of that, like Copycat isn't there anymore.
Hopefully maybe a sequel. Hopefully that.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that they bring her in.
Because she's like mega Mystique with her powers, where Mystique can look like you, but if Copycat touches you, she can replicate your powers and everything else down to a cellular level.
Yeah.
So like she could just be like, "Oh, I'm you." So
that's why I'm really
2 Deadpools talking to each other.
Yeah,
you could.
She could copy him.
I wonder if they're gonna ever bring in the timeline too, with because it gets weird in the Deadpool comics. Because
wait, comic books get weird at some point.
The Deadpool ones get real weird. So like Deadpool falls in love with Death. Like Death is a person,
the entity,
the entity that Thanos loves too, right?
Yes. Oh, I didn't know you knew that.
Yes. I didn't only because we talked about it before.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a line
so
from
that's actually
the Avengers.
That's actually part of the comic book. Like Thanos and Deadpool both are in love with Death, and I'm just curious if like because they can't bring in Thanos, and they can't like as far as I know they
probably don't have the rights to Death.
Right,
exactly. The entity of Death.
Right. So that's why I kind of want them to be able to bring in some sort of like that weird love interest, but at the same time it would be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Especially because the first one was really set up as like a love story between them two.
Yeah.
Where if they do, it would have to be multiple movies or multiple things down the road. Like the next movie couldn't have it.
Right. Well, I know that even in the comic books, Deadpool is falls in love with I can't even think of her name.
Yeah, her.
One of the Avengers, the one that played by Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, Black Widow.
Black Widow. He falls in love with Black Widow at one point.
Yeah.
To see,
well, that's because Wade is like omnisexual. He's just like, I'll fuck anything.
Right.
I'll fuck you right now. I'll fuck you tomorrow.
Which they kind of do with the Happy Women Appreciation Day and like the sex montage of the relationship.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It's just
it's like nope.
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 Yeah.
The thing that I thought would be just picturing like if we ever get a point where we could have Deadpool join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like
Marvel, like
the actual like Avengers
Disney?
and all that. Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen, and if it does, it's not gonna be the
Disney,
same.
Deadpool.
Like the only way they could set it up would be like if Deadpool looks right at the camera and he just was like, "All right, folks, here's the deal. I've been sold out. All right, so every time that I'm gonna say beep, that's gonna happen. That just happened right there because it's a Disney movie now.
Yeah,
but don't worry, you can catch me in Deadpool 3 coming next year. Wink." And, then he could still do a lot of the same things, but anything that he would, like, anytime he'd swear, it would get bleeped or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I'd watch that.
I mean, it would be cool to see him in that universe, but at the same time, it's
feel
fine for him to be separate. Like, if Fox keeps the rights to X-Men and they go forward, like, Deadpool's a great example of like how they can really build a franchise based off of this one movie. Like, easily bring in a new X-Men movie. Easily, I mean, obviously they're working on an X-Force script, I know.
What they should do is scrap the shitty Gambit movie that we know they're going to end up making. Scrap it. Take the budget from Gambit and then give that to Deadpool 2 so that it has more money.
Well, how big is the budget for Gambit?
I don't know, but I don't really care. Sorry, Channing Tatum. Nobody wants to see you in a movie that bad that they're going to pay to see just Gambit and have it be good. It's not going to be good. Name one Gambit villain.
They're all...
I don't even know. I don't know any fucking Gambit villains. I know Belladonna, the woman that he was in love with in Louisiana, she betrays him to the League of Assassins or the Assassin's Guild or whatever. That's one. Whoopee.
Yeah, I don't really care about a Gambit movie.
Yeah, but apparently they're doing it. But I bet I know who's behind it. That bitch Laura Schuler Donner.
I think this should be a good example. Like,
look it up on the iPad, Brent. Look up. See if she's behind the Gambit movie. I need to know.
Okay, the thing that I think
because she wasn't attached to the Deadpool movie.
And that was fantastic.
Yeah.
What this should show,
bitch.
and what if I could have a choice that's like, this is what my hope is that Marvel Cinematic Universe takes what they're doing, keep doing what they're doing, people like it, cool. This Deadpool movie shows Fox that you can have a really successful R-rated comic book series that doesn't have to be super hard R all the time. If you do like a Wolverine movie, it doesn't have to be as crazy and hard R as Deadpool wants to be. But you can still do more than a PG-13 superhero movie.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And then make X-Men serious like that.
Yeah, you can still do I think you can still do a good X-Men movie at PG-13. I think that they just got the look right in this movie. Like, with the budget that they had, they did what they could with it and made it
I do
almost
think
perfect.
Marvel/Disney though is learning that they can have more adult-oriented superheroes, just kind of keep them in their own realm. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, especially. I mean, that show, there was 3 episodes in a row. There's a sex scene every half episode.
Yeah.
All right, fuck. Is this still Disney? Is this Disney still?
To be fair, though, those sex scenes were very Twilight sex scenes.
I don't know about Twilight. I mean, they were railing. They were railing each other.
There was nothing gentle.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean, they weren't showing anything, but they weren't.
When the bed breaks, all I could think of was Breaking Dawn. I was just like, oh, it's Twilight.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I don't know. I feel like right now Marvel has enough on their plate with reviving some of their own characters that Deadpool, if Fox keeps doing him right, they can keep him. Just give Marvel the Fantastic Four back, because we already know after 3 films that they don't know what the fuck they're doing with the Fantastic Four.
So looking at the Gambit, 2017 is when it's slated, produced by Reed Carolyn, Simon Kinberg, Channing Tatum, and Lauren Schuler Donner.
Of course.
Lauren Schuler Donner.
Just because her husband made a couple good Superman movies.
Giving you classics as X-Men, X-Men 2, pretty much all those ones. Oh, she was a producer on Deadpool.
Was she?
No.
Yeah.
No way.
She wasn't even in the credits. They probably for good reason. They were like, we know this one guy is going to see this movie, and if her name pops up, he might walk out.
Hold on, I'm double checking it, but under her credits, she was credited as a producer. Yeah, it says produced by, according to IMDb. She's like one of 7.
So she probably had absolutely nothing to do with the actual production.
Well, yeah, because there's 5 executive producers and then 3 producers: Ryan Reynolds and Simon Kinberg and Lauren Schuler Donner.
Oh, they were just producers on it? So they weren't executive producers? So that's probably a good thing if you don't give her executive rights.
Yeah.
Well, she was only a producer on... She's credited as only a producer on Gambit, but there's so few credits that it's not 100% yet.
Whatever. She's an idiot. She's the whole reason that we had Havoc in First Class. It was like, well, I really liked his powers. I thought he'd look cool. Like, but that doesn't make any sense. You fuck up the timeline even more, lady. Ugh.
Sidebar, Deadpool right now on IMDb has an 8.7 out of 10.
Nice.
That's good.
That's good.
Pretty freaking high.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been so much more positive review from this movie than negative review.
Right there.
Which,
when he
Deadpool.
Yeah, just tucked
barely.
away.
when
There's so many people on this fucking shirt.
what is it? They going back to the music in Deadpool, there's the the Angel song in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the where he does like cue the music, and there's that song, and then the song that plays when he's got the knife in his head.
Yeah.
Is what was that? It was the I can't even remember, but that song was like a perfect choice for that moment.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing with any of the music was the Wham stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Wham.
Wham? No, Wham. This was the album they earned the exclamation point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just great. Just
And just that was the part where they made that really good joke with the other Deadpool, where he's like, "This is my most prized possession."
Oh,
and
and
it
they
shows
show
a little fucking action figure, and she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "No, this."
yeah.
This. Or like where the guy's like, I maybe I'll sew your mouth shut. He's like, nope, that would be a horrible idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Trust me, that'd be a
Trust
bad
me.
idea. Oh man.
Whatever you do, don't make the suit green or animated.
That and then all the Hugh Jackman references.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. My
So
favorite part of the
many.
whole movie was
When
at the
she
very end.
fucking takes the mask off, and I thought he taped it at first, and I was like, oh, fucking stapled. Like, oh my god.
picture of Hugh
Jackman
Jackman.
in his face.
She just like pulls it off. He's like, come on, tug it. It's like a bandage.
Just rip it off. That and then he's like, "Who did I have to blow to get my movie?" Well, let me tell you, it rhymes with Pulverine.
Yeah.
And he does the Australian accent. It's just like,
He's got a nice pair of balls down under.
yeah. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's just from beginning to end, it's one of my favorite superhero movies.
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
definitely a day one Blu-ray purchase.
Oh,
This
for
is
sure. Yeah.
this is one of those movies that I like. We've talked about before. I don't condone downloading movies, but I wish that there was a way I could have the movie in my house right now,
Yeah.
so I could watch it again.
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
that's how you know it's a good movie. It's like right after I got done watching it, I was like, when I walked out of the theater, I saw the people lined up at the Extreme Theater to go in to see it, and I was like, man, I wish I was you.
Like last night, I've been working on stuff all day, and then like at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, I went to go lay down, and I was like, I really wish I could watch Deadpool right now, and there's no way I could watch it.
Right,
But
yeah.
It's like I want to watch it like right now.
Yeah.
And if you charge me $30 to have it in my house, I probably would pay $30 to be able to watch it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like that's when the moments were like either like early access to movies that are like digitally or something like that. There needs to be a service where I can pay for that because I want to see it.
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be nice.
Hell, I almost for the podcast I was gonna try to find a mask, Deadpool mask.
Deadpool mask?
Just
Just wear it
like wait a minute, you guys can't hear me because of the mask? Shit.
Oh yeah, that
I
line
really
was
loved the progression of his suit that it went through. It was real quick.
Yeah.
You know, just he's wearing the white, like, where's Francis? And he's like, God damn it, it's fucking covered in blood.
Was it
It was
Al? It said
Yeah.
it's like use blah 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 for
He was
blood.
like, use
or
lemon
where's
and seltzer
red?
water for blood, or wear red. And he's like, huh, okay.
And then you see him sewing, and I was like, oh, he's gonna have the suit, and it's like a little crummy suit.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wait, is the mask muffling my voice?
So good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Fucking baby hand. I can't get over the baby.
The baby hand was up there with one of like those
He's, like,
moments.
stroking her chin, like
Is it?
It
am
looked
I
so
crazy?
good too. That was the
yeah,
thing. Like it just looked
a
so.
little fucking hand.
Am I crazy? Is your hand really small?
Because I'm hoping they keep progressing his powers. Because in like the comics, the Deadpool I know, like you chop his arm off and it's just
Yeah,
it's back.
Yeah.
Like boom, hey, I got
it
another
grows
one.
back because
Yeah.
there's been times I know when he gets like his fingers chopped off and he's got his gun and he's like waiting for his fingers to come back.
Yeah.
like because it grows fast, but it
Yeah,
you know,
it's not like boom, but a little bit faster than the movie where he's like
he had to like
takes like a couple hours for the baby hand to start coming through.
Yeah.
and, you know.
But I
so-
thought it was a good way for them to show like how his powers kind of work.
Yeah.
because like a lot of people probably didn't understand like how
Yeah.
exactly it works.
I thought because he cuts off his hand and then he falls in the garbage truck and then it cuts to like the past and then it cuts back. I thought the camera was going to pull out and his hand was going to be back.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
like show that like that's how it works.
Yeah.
But I like because
I like
obviously the jokes
We
and
get the
the
baby hand. I bet it feels huge in this.
huge.
Oh god,
Oh man, just
it was great. One of my favorites.
easily one. Yeah, definitely a highlight.
It's great to start the year off with this because this is like last year was the year of nostalgia. And we only got like 2 really big comic book movies. This is the comic book movie year.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah,
we got Deadpool, Batman vs Superman, Captain America: Civil War,
Doctor Strange,
Doctor Strange is this
Suicide
year?
Squad.
Suicide Squad.
At least those 5.
And that's all this year.
At least, yeah. I feel like there's
X-Men.
something else.
and
And X-Men 6.
Because I was gonna say, I thought each studio had like 2 movies coming out. Because
Yeah.
Fox has
Deadpool,
Deadpool
is
and
the
X-Men.
And
best.
it's only going to keep ramping up from here, where
I don't want to call it this, but Deadpool is easily the best X-Men movie. Like
I wouldn't even call it an X-Men movie. I feel like you're belittling
it,
Yeah.
but because it had X-Men in it,
Yeah.
this was
if you
definitely
had
the
to-
best.
if
X-Men.
I would agree with that because all the X-Men characters were done better than, at least like with Colossus, they've been done. The suits, like I said, looked great. So fuck you, Bryan Singer, for your stupid black leather. Just do it the right way. Like, I don't buy that bullshit excuse that it doesn't translate well on film, because clearly it does. Like, you'd have to try really hard to make it not translate well. Like, go to Spirit Halloween or Party City and buy one of those suits and make them wear that. Yeah, it's not going to translate very well on film, but
you have to do a little bit of work.
yeah, like Negasonics looked great. Colossuses looked great. There's no reason that when they do Cyclops again, they do him right and give him the fucking yellow bandolier with all the pouches on it and the big X logo in the chest and the yellow visor and the blue suit.
The one thing I can see with Cyclops, like them cutting out, is the whole like hood part of it.
Yeah.
Like they can cut off the costume at the neck, but then just give him the right visor.
And then that
And even
fucking
give
that
him a
wavy
full,
hair, yeah.
Yeah, give him like a full like red or yellow band that goes around the entire head. That's fine, but just like
And another big one for me, Rogue. I really want Rogue in that like classic Jim Lee 90s with the green headband, the brown leather jacket, and the green and yellow,
the green and yellow
suit.
spandex. Yeah.
Like, that's amazing, and it would look great.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason. And even Wolverine, we have yet to get a classic Wolverine costume. They've teased it, and I'm like, just put him in the fucking suit. Just put him in the fucking
If
suit.
Disney
Give him the
can
mask.
pull off Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
like
But that's because that's the one thing that I've always respected Marvel and Disney for, is Marvel's like, all right, well, we're going to put him in the suit. And they're like, what about Cap? Like, his suit's kind of dated. They're like, don't worry, we got this idea. We're going to put him in the dated suit in plays, and then we're going to make a more practical suit that still looks good. And you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Iron Man, they're not like, well, I mean, it looks kind of weird. They're like, no, fuck it, he's Iron Man. It's like,
this is Iron Man.
With Spider-Man, people were like, oh, are you going to do what Sony did and put him in a weird suit? And they're like, oh, he's Spider-Man. Why can't he look like Spider-Man? He's going to be Spider-Man. Yeah. So that's one thing that I've always, liked with them. With Thor, I know people who are huge Thor fans, they're pissed that he never wears the helmet.
Yeah.
Which I get. If I was a huge Thor fan, I'd be like, put on the fucking helmet. Wear your fucking helmet.
Well, maybe at one point, like, even if he doesn't wear it during battle or anything, if he just were to put it on.
He's had it on, like, in a couple scenes. Father, I've come from battle. Anthony Hopkins is like, very good, son, very good. Yeah. So, yeah, he's worn it a few times. But by and large, Marvel has been great. And Doctor Strange was a big one where I was like, I don't fucking know, man. That's a weird-ass costume. And you're like, all right, well, bring it on. Whatever the fuck you guys are going to make next, make it. Because clearly you can make any fucking costume you want.
Right,
You know what you're doing.
Wasn't the big thing with talking about Sony Spider-Man, the second one, isn't the big thing he had white eyes?
The second one looked way better. I still have not seen Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I think the big thing was that he had, like, the eyes were right for some. I can't remember exactly.
Because in the first one he had like the weird kind of like lens looking eyes,
Oh,
and then
yeah,
the suit looked the suit itself looked bad. I wasn't a fan of it. I was never a huge fan of the Tobey Maguire one, but it looked better than the first Amazing Spider-Man one. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit is probably the best suit that I've seen on film, and it looked fine. Like, yeah, he's Spider-Man and he's wearing spandex, but it's a superhero movie. Like,
yeah,
let them wear what they're gonna fucking wear.
People
like,
are coming to the movie because they know. Like,
yeah,
most of the times they know what they're walking
because
into.
of how well they've done all of this with Deadpool. It makes me so much more excited for Cable. Because we're going to get Cable with the big-ass fucking shoulder armor, with all the ammo and the pouches.
And you know that they're going to do his arm right because of the way Colossus is
his
done.
arm is going to look good. He's going to have the scar on his eye and the glowing yellow eye.
And that's something we never even talked about. Post-credit scene
was
absolute
great.
Brilliance. Just
because it was
a spoof of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
One. Like, I was like watching and I was like, are they spoofing Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
And it's great because that's like another fourth wall. Like, if anybody goes, like, when Deadpool talks to the screen, they're like, that's weird. It's like, didn't you watch Ferris Bueller? And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess he did. It's like, they just forget.
Yeah.
Because it can be done.
Yeah.
Well, it can be done well. It can be done bad, too.
Yeah.
But Ferris Bueller did it very well. And, and then just the the joke about the Marvel Cinematic Universe I loved. He's like, what do you think is going to happen? Sam Jackson's going to show up in a leather number and an eye patch?
Yeah.
No.
I was going to tease Deadpool 2. We don't have a budget for that.
Yeah.
Oh, but I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
We will be making Deadpool 2, and we're going to introduce this guy named Cable.
It's going to be
Great
cool.
character.
He's got time
We
travel.
don't know who
and
we're going
stuff.
to cast yet, you know.
Which
just-
I was so excited for because I think we've actually talked about it. I've talked about it probably quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think on the podcast.
I think out of everybody, you've talked about it the most.
Because that's the one character I'm like, they just need to introduce Cable. Because once
Yeah.
Cable gets introduced, that's when the fun's really going to happen.
Yes.
Because you're going to get crazy characters and you're going to
Yep.
get great like banter between them. And,
And-
like Cable, like Cable and Deadpool go through this weird thing where they're trying to kill each other and then they team up and then they try to kill each other and then they team up. Like it's a great relationship between the two characters.
And Cable himself gives Fox a lot that they can do with just the X-Men franchise going forward.
That and the timeline. They can explain the timeline.
Yep.
They can just be like, we're going, like, they can explain it because Cable time travels.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be like, check it out, we're doing it again. We're time traveling and we're changing the timeline.
Yeah.
Like, and then they can explain it and then they can build a whole new X-Men universe off of the Deadpool timeline. Which would be perfect.
There's like two storylines that I really hope Fox gets to do. One is probably going to be almost impossible because it involves most of the Avengers.
Right.
The House of M storyline, where it all starts where Scarlet Witch is like losing control of her powers and she can alter reality essentially because she's that powerful. And to please her father Magneto, she creates a world or she alters reality so that mutants are the dominant species. Magneto is a member of the House of Magnus, and they're the ruling mutant family, and humans are subjugated just like mutants were. Tony Stark is like a human gladiator that fights in these like pits, and he's got an Iron Man suit that he fights in. Hey, because he's nobody. Spider-Man lies and says that he's a mutant because he has powers, and so everyone's like, yeah, he's a mutant. Look at that, Spider-Man. But deep down, he's like, I'm not a mutant though, and if they find out, they're gonna fucking kill me. You know, and like Wolverine wakes up, and he's the only one who remembers the world before.
Well, of course.
Of course.
Right.
Sounds really familiar, right? Because that's pretty much what Fox did with Apocalypse. Even though, or not Apocalypse, Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Even though in the original Days of Future Past, it was Kitty Pryde that remembered everything. Well, not remembered. Her old self was sent back to whatever.
But Wolverine's
Wolverine's a bigger character, and Kitty Pryde was not nearly big enough. Plus, not around in the 70s for them to be like
different actors throughout the series, right?
Yeah. I think two.
I thought she was in the first one for like a scene, and then the second one had her a little bit, and then the third
She was
one
at least she was definitely referenced in the first one.
Yeah.
Like a girl who can walk through walls.
Oh, yeah.
I think she Wolverine walks into like Storm's class for the first time, and a girl forgets her book, and she runs through the door out. And that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, House of M then culminates with Wolverine like helping to fix the world, and Scarlet Witch gets really pissed at her dad at the end of the storyline and goes, "No more mutants, Daddy." And just like that, everything's sent back to normal, except now all but 200 mutants lose their powers. Just gone. They're just Blob wakes up and he doesn't have any powers anymore, but he's still got all of his excess skin. And he's trying. He decides to try to kill himself, but he can't cut through his skin, and just like a lot of them live miserable lives, and a lot of ones who had powers
I've never
wake
read
up.
this timeline.
Yeah, a lot of them wake up and don't have powers. Like Magneto loses his powers, Professor X loses his powers, and a ton of them lose their powers. So that I would like to see them do, just from a time travel alternate universe aspect, but they don't have the rights to Scarlet Witch or a lot of the Avengers that would be involved in it, so they'd have to figure out a way to tweak it.
Well, do you think they don't have the, because they have the rights to Quicksilver and like that? Maybe Scarlet Witch could be.
Yeah, they
somehow.
they could bring her in, but she just wouldn't be the same.
Right.
You know, it would work. But then with Cable specifically, after the whole House of M thing happens, the first mutant is born like years later. Like for a while, there's just no mutants. They're like, well, we got 200 of us. This is all that's left. And then finally, one mutant baby is born, and all of these different factions like want her. Like Mr. Sinister's like, I want that fucking baby. You know, he's
Labyrinth?
like, give me that baby.
Give me the baby.
Give me the baby. the X-Men want her. Bishop wants her because Bishop comes from Bishop's timeline that he comes from. The baby is the reason he believes that his people are slaves, basically. Because like the mutant baby creates an apocalypse that then causes people to turn against mutants and yada yada. But then Cable's like, no, fuck you, Bishop. This baby is like the Messiah. Like I'm protecting this baby. And there's like this whole bunch of like just different factions vying for the baby, and it ends with like, I think like Bishop kills Professor X, but then Wolverine gets fucking pissed and cuts off Bishop's arm, just like straight up is like fuck you, and like boom, arm gone.
This right here is why it's hard to get people not into comics because they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, like
There's a lot that's going on.
Wait,
there's so
what?
much going on, but they all want this baby. It'd be like Labyrinth 2.0. Everybody wants this fucking baby.
Yeah.
And they're all like William Stryker in the comics is a preacher, well, ex-military, now preacher. He shows up, he wants the baby. Like, it'd be a really good way for them to be like, let's just throw all these motherfucking people into it. Like, we got Mr. Sinister, you want the baby? All right, cool. Mystique, you want the baby? Xavier, you want the baby?
Laura Schuler Downer, Joss wants you to make a baby movie.
Stay the fuck away from my baby movie, Laura. Lauren. Whatever. Yeah, so that I would like
There's
to see.
a lot of, I mean, there's tons of timelines that they could go with.
Because Cable ends up taking the baby. He's like, no, fuck that. I'm taking the baby. And he time travels into the future so that she can age safely. And she like just mega ages. She's like, boom, I'm an adult now. And she looks just like Jean Grey. She got red hair, green eyes. So everyone's like, oh, fuck. We all know what this means. She's about to be the Phoenix eventually. And her powers are insane. She's basically Peter Petrelli from season 1 of Heroes before they fucked it up. But
I was like, Peter Petrelli. I was like, I know that name.
Yeah,
That's not
Running
Heroes.
through your Marvel list.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was
Peter
like, what?
Petrelli. But yeah, her power basically, she has empathic mimicry, where she's just like, oh, I can do that. She's just like, somebody's like about to punch her, and she's like, I actually have metal skin now. Chink. And they're like, oh fuck, mega baby,
Mega baby.
I want that.
Yeah.
I want that scene, but I want the baby to be the one fighting, not grown up girl. just the baby.
So the Incredibles.
Yes, I want.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Jax. I think his name was.
Yeah, it was Chet. Where he's like holding it. He's like,
Jack
it's fucking hot. And turns into metal. Oh my god. Yeah. So I don't know. Cable brings up so many possibilities that
so many different ways they go,
Oh,
which would
yeah.
be great. I don't know if they'd want to bring in, because they could bring in Mr. Sinister into the Deadpool franchise, which would be cool. Because once you bring in Deadpool, once you bring in Cable, you can bring in Mr. Sinister, which would be great.
Yep.
And along with my original hopes that they bring in, if they can bring in Wolverine, you might as well bring in Omega Red.
Oh yeah. Just
Go all out.
With Omega Red, because he's Russian, I really want him and Colossus to fight.
Right.
Because they had an episode in the cartoon where they fought each other, and I was like, yes, like Omega Red, the Soviet, Soviet like sympathizer, and then Colossus is like, no, I'm Russian, but I don't support you. And, like they're beating the shit out of each other.
Right. That would actually be a great matchup. If we can get Deadpool with Colossus, Cable, Mr. Sinister, and Omega Red, like those are my top characters.
And throw in like Wolverine and Sabretooth just because they want to fight each other again.
They'll show
Fuck
up.
it, But give Sabretooth his classic costume with the fucking fur hanging off the back,
Right.
and it's brown and orange, and everyone's gonna be like, look, that looks fucking sweet.
Yeah.
So
Do it.
So to sum up, go see Deadpool if you haven't.
Yes.
If you haven't, I mean, you're probably not here if you haven't seen it because we just spoiled probably most of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, just talk
But-
about the jokes.
Yeah. But pretty
brilliant.
much in the end, go see Deadpool again because I will probably see it again.
Yeah, I probably want to
I
go.
almost went last night, but I wanted to get everything ready for the video podcast. So
I'm gonna go see it in IMAX for sure, or not IMAX, Extreme.
so
IMAX.
please, which is it's
Please.
fine, but anywhere around us, our IMAX theaters around us suck. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't live close enough to that one to make the trip ever. So
But thanks for listening, and if you're watching, thanks for watching the first video podcast. Hopefully, we'll be able to do this a lot more, and we got Alf Yoda. And so, thanks. Make sure you subscribe onto iTunes, subscribe on YouTube now. You can get up to date and make sure you keep up with all the podcasts on YouTube now. So, or check out thecineman.net. It'll all be there. But for this episode of the TheCineChat, this has been Brent,
Josh,
And Josiah.
I'll see you guys next time.
see ya.
Bye-bye.